Let's talk about India's education system. It's a huge paradox, right? We have millions and millions of graduates, but companies are constantly complaining that they can't find people with the right skills. Parents are draining their life savings for tuition, but their kids are still struggling to land a decent job. So what is going on? We're going to dig into why this system feels like it's designed to fail, who's actually making money off of it, and what a real fix might actually look like.
This quote from our source material just nails it perfectly. It's like a chain of demands, all pointing at the student. The school wants money, the company wants skills, the government wants taxes. But that one thing that's supposed to connect it all, a good quality education, that's the missing link. Everyone wants to take something from the student, but what is the system really giving back? That's the billion-dollar question.
And these are the big questions we're going to tackle in this explainer. It's a frustration that's felt in millions of homes all across the country. So together, we're going to look at where this all started, the insane culture of pressure it's created, and maybe most importantly, the powerful forces that have a vested interest in keeping things exactly as they are.
So, to really understand why the system isn't working today in the 21st century, we have to go back. Way back. Turns out, it was never really built for the modern world to begin with.
Okay, so check this out. Back in 1835, the British had a very specific goal: create a workforce of clerks, people who could follow instructions, do the paperwork, and keep the empire running smoothly. The last thing they wanted were innovators or people who asked too many questions. Now, fast forward almost 200 years. The crazy part is that basic software, valuing compliance over creativity, is pretty much still running the entire machine.
And this is the result. The system has become a factory. It is incredibly efficient at churning out millions of graduates with degrees every single year. It's built for mass production. But in that process, it just steamrolls the one thing we actually need: the curiosity and the creativity that turns us into problem solvers.
But it doesn't have to be this way. Let's just take a quick look at a completely different model, like Finland. They have almost no standardized exams before a student is 16 years old. Learning is integrated, so a lesson on, say, climate change will pull in bits of math, science, and geography. The goal is real understanding. Now compare that to a system that is obsessed with cramming facts, formulas, and dates just long enough to spit them out on an exam paper and then forget them.
So what's the end result of doing things differently? Well, the proof is right there. We're talking about world-changing innovations. From Nokia, which basically kicked off the mobile revolution, to Linux, the operating system that powers so much of the internet. Even Angry Birds. It's just a powerful reminder of what's possible when you let education be about actual learning, not just passing tests.
Okay, so we've seen the design flaw in the system. Now let's talk about what that actually feels like for the students and parents who are trapped inside it. This is where the factory's problems become a very real, very stressful daily grind.
Oh man, I think anyone who grew up in this system feels this one in their bones. The report card wasn't about your progress, it was a verdict on your worth. And that verdict was always compared to the legendary Sharmaji Kabeda, that mythical neighbor's kid who was supposedly perfect. This culture of constant comparison just piles on the pressure from day one.
And, wherever there's that much fear, someone is going to figure out how to make a business out of it. This has created what our source calls the coaching mafia. It's a massive, multi-billion-dollar industry that's built on a single, powerful idea. Your school isn't good enough. They're selling the dream that the formal system just can't deliver anymore.
And their business model is brutally effective. Step 1, create fear. Make parents believe that without coaching, their child is doomed. Step 2, promise success. They'll plaster the faces of the top students all over billboards, making you think your kid can be next. Step 3, collect huge fees, often forcing parents to take out loans. And what do students get? A soul-crushing schedule with 4:30 a.m. starts and late-night tests. And the best part? The fine print says there's no guarantee any of it will work.
You'd think this madness would end after the big entrance exams, right? Well, not really. In college, the rote learning just evolves into what people call PPT culture, where learning is just a professor reading off a PowerPoint slide. And the marketing game gets an upgrade too, with colleges making these wild promises of 100% placement to lure in the next batch of hopeful students.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time talking about what's wrong, but what's the cure? The good news is there are some really clear practical ideas out there. So let's shift gears from the problems and look at some potential solutions.
The core idea here
is a massive shift from passive memorization to active, hands-on creation. So instead of just memorizing when a battle happened, you learn how to manage a budget. Instead of cramming formulas, you learn how to build an app or even just repair a simple engine. The focus shifts from abstract ideas to real, tangible skills.
Now here's a really cool, concrete idea to make that happen. It's called the skill card. Imagine this. Starting in 8th grade, along with your regular report card, you get a skill card. It tracks your progress in a practical skill. Maybe it's coding or VFX or carpentry. The proposal suggests swapping out one academic subject for a skill like this and another one for a competitive sport. It's all about creating a more balanced, practical education.
So what would that actually look like for a student? Well, a 10th grader might still have English, math, and science, but instead of 2 other traditional academic subjects, they could be learning weightlifting as their sport and automobile engineering as their skill. See, it's not about getting rid of academics, it's about weaving practical skills and physical health right into the curriculum.
And the ideas don't stop there. Imagine if every student learned financial management, how to actually file taxes or what a mutual fund is, or legal studies, so you know your basic rights and responsibilities as a citizen. The source also suggests splitting subjects into basic and standard levels. Basic would be for everyone, teaching you real-world applications. Standard would be for the students who want to go deep and make a career out of it. It just makes education relevant for everyone.
Now, all of these solutions seem pretty logical, right? So why haven't they happened? To answer that, we have to ask a tougher question. Who actually benefits from the system staying broken? And the answer, as it so often does, is found when you follow the money.
This is such a sharp observation. We see political parties protesting about all sorts of things, but how often do you see a massive protest demanding better schools or a new curriculum? It's just not on the agenda. The political will to change things seems to be completely missing.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the problem. The system's failures aren't just some big accident. They create opportunities, profitable loopholes. For a select, powerful group of people, a broken education system is actually a fantastic business model.
So how does this actually work in practice? This chart breaks down a couple of the common schemes. Here's one. A politician donates a bunch of black money to a school trust that they happen to control. The school then turns around and gives an outrageously overpriced contract for, say, construction to a company that the politician also happens to own. Boom. The black money is now clean. Or a company gives its required corporate social responsibility money to a school, and the school quietly gives 90% of it back in cash. The funds meant for education just vanish.
And this isn't some rare fringe activity. According to a report cited in our source, in a massive state like Uttar Pradesh, a shocking 30% of politicians have official connections to school or college trusts. The line between education and politics has become incredibly blurred.
And that's the real gut punch. The biggest thing stopping reform isn't a lack of good ideas. It's the fact that the current broken system is a reliable, profitable machine for powerful people to clean their money and expand their influence. Any real change threatens that whole setup.
And that brings us to the final and most important takeaway. The solutions are there. The blueprints for a better, more practical, more humane system exist. The only ingredient that's missing is the collective will to actually demand that change. So that leaves us with one last big question. If the people in power have no reason to fix this broken system, who will?